Hello, this is Carl with SiteBento, and this is the project preview for Albert Frick & Associates. This is meant to sort of give you an idea of what the site can do, lay down the foundation, and sort of show you the technical aspects, or at least some of them, for the website without really showing you a finished product yet, because we obviously want to have a chance to go back and forth and review it. But just before we start, we'd like to get a little bit of background on the project. The requirements essentially were SEO-friendly design. That seemed to be the primary thing. Currently, the Albert Frick & Associates website scores well for the words Albert Frick and not much else. So we want to sort of align the website with the corporate mission, corporate goals. Through that, part of the process is improving the architecture, and improved architecture is one of the three pillars of SEO friendliness, essentially having a standardized friendly design that search engines can come in and read. The second thing is to help improve content by making it easier to manage it. In other words, post-edit content that's already there, as well as possibly create a foundation for aggregators to come in and pull in content from other areas that would make the site a little bit more robust than it already is. Because SEO friendliness is the most important factor, I'm going to focus on that a little bit more right now. But I just want to sort of go back to the problem areas that the existing site endured and what led the site down the wrong path. So the first thing is the current design. Essentially, it's flawed, and it's easy for me to say that. It's a lot harder to prove. It's common language to say, code is bad. But essentially, you guys were using iframes, tables, and really poor image handling to create an entire website. And essentially, when you're navigating it, you don't see the address bar changing at all. And that's usually a bad thing because that means we're opening up things within frames and the page isn't really refreshing. Google's going to have a hard time actually seeing what the content here is. The focus on aesthetics seemed to be the primary thing. It looks like a lot of time was spent creating these little animations, creating these very pretty pictures for that matter, and sort of lining everything up. But then when you get to certain pages, things are cut off incorrectly and have to scroll up and down. There's no scroll bar. So it really seemed like aesthetic took over the functionality. And at this stage, when you're a company that's a small business, functionality is key and aesthetic is important, but it's not. It shouldn't overtake the priority of the project. So it seems like things were just kind of reversed here. Apologize for that. The current keyword system that's been in place was sort of unusable. I understand it's a little hard to read, but essentially too many keywords and not enough content to support them. It seems like the kitchen sink was thrown into the metadata of the website, which is the data about the data. And it has no effect. What it does is it essentially dilutes the purpose of the site, and Google tends to ignore it because it knows that it's just way too much and it's irrelevant. And lastly, it's really just a content issue, which isn't addressed here. It's going to have to get addressed over time, but essentially improving the content that's there to make it readable. So obviously a SiteBento solution was proposed rather than Google Sites, which is the alternative that we make available. It's a Joomla CMS-based system. The reason for the delay in this particular project was that we actually got a new data center and we launched the second generation of our SiteBento solution. So this will be the first website running the latest generation. And that really just architectural changes that make sites look better, for one, and to make them work better, faster. Lay down a platform that will enable Albert Frick to grow further and actually grow this site to something more than what it is right now, and obviously give you the management platform. So first I would like to kind of go over the SEO piece. This is a Google crawler simulator, and currently I have on it the results of your current website. And the problem here is that there's a lot of words, and yet there's absolutely no links. All of these indicate essentially dead links. The pound sign means I didn't know where to go. And nothing else. I mean, there's no text. The only text that the spider actually was able to grab was the title of the page. That's terrible. You don't stand a chance in SEO world. The current demo site shows up differently. Same spider, same site. Here we're actually reading data. There's words, there's paragraphs for it to process through, and lots of variety in links that it can crawl and go through, including all of the areas that have content with services and staff and so on and so forth. And currently there's no meta information just because we're not running the optimization tools just yet, but there will be, and it will be based on the information that's already here. So, very first thing, I'm going to show you the site itself as it exists. Make the screen a little larger. This is the demo proposed. I know that you guys were interested in good aesthetic, so I sort of did make that a second prerogative, but not the first, and went with a modern look with some good imagery. That is a picture from Maine, and I try to incorporate a lot of the stuff that you guys already had, and brought some of my own flavor into this whole thing. Themes can be changed. It's not something that's set in stone, but I'd like to give you something that you'll be happy with from the get-go and work with that rather than keep on going through iterations. As I said, function, priority, then aesthetic. It just needs to look good and professional, and I think we did that here. If you hate it, we'll change it entirely. If you like it, then that's good. Then I scored. Essentially, a little bit of animation here, but nothing major. We don't want to do flash or anything like that. It just takes away from the Google algorithms the capability to process the information. So we want to keep it simple. I noticed that there was some attention to this wind energy project that you guys had, so I'm going to start there. I'm going to click on this link, and I essentially combined all the content that was in a sort of a subsite that you all had before. If I bring it up here somewhere, I had trouble locating it earlier. But this little subsite thing that was going on, this is really not necessary. Search engines don't see it. There's no point to it. I understand that the actual wind energy project might be important, but we can give it its own section, bring attention to it, and still maintain regular standards and not go away to something that's entirely different. Incorporated some of your images. I'm not a graphics designer. I did my best. We can hire a graphics designer if needed. The photos that you guys provided were varied quality. Some were very small and not really workable. Others were okay. So I just kind of grabbed some of the best that I could see and put them in. The second thing is the septic system calculator. I did virtually nothing with that. We're going to use exactly what's there already. And we'll see what happens after that. I mean, it seems to work properly. It's currently feeding right to your website. The services piece is probably more important. This is a demo, so obviously not all the information's here. But the key thing is we need a little bit more content to really make this section work. And essentially what we are doing is just feeding all of your services into one giant area where people can click and read, but search engines can be happy with. So here we are. We're bringing up environmental permitting, and there's the content from the previous site. I used the images, and I also created a sort of a top banner for all that as well. And then people can scroll back down and keep on clicking. This is really to resurrect the site in the SEO world. We want to have all this on one page so Google can keep on turning through it. I will make a note that right now, as it stands, there's a little bug in the system. It's supposed to have these square images next to each article. This is a problem that I just discovered as we were building the last few elements tonight, and it will be corrected probably before you see it, if not sometime in the next 24 hours from the time you preview this demo. But essentially, real simple. Every article looks the same. Click, pull up the details, and that's about it. The project's client screen didn't really change very much at all. Just posted everything that was there. The frequently asked questions are not even edited. This needs cleanup, but the content is here just to kind of show you how that's going to lay out. And then we really need an About Us section to talk more about the company, but currently I just have a staff link that has people's pictures and their profiles. One thing here is in cases for Albert and James, the CVs are really lengthy. Again, unedited, but there's really no introductory paragraph. We don't want all this on the main page, so that's going to have to get rewritten, but pretty simple. That's essentially the site in preview. You'll have an address when you get this video, so you can actually go look at it yourself. The only other thing I want to show is sort of the management sides. I'm just going to give a little bit of a preview for that. I added a login, logout option. I'm going to log in as the administrator. And when you log in from the front end, you can actually edit content right there when you're an admin by clicking the edit button that you just saw there. Very simple. It's a what you see is what you get editor. And most of the content can be edited this way. That's one of the hallmarks of Joomla. There's also an entire administrative piece which lets us control all the content in a much bigger scale. Sort through, organize articles, group things together, and so on and so forth. And you'll have access to all that as well. Thank you for your time. I hope you enjoyed the demo. Please come back to me with any comments, and hopefully we can move from here.